And for the January 22nd, 2019 day card, what have we got here? The Prince of Darkness, more commonly known as the Devil in a lot of tarot decks. In fact, I don't know that I've run into any where he's been called the Prince of Darkness, and in some cases we could even call him the Princess of Darkness, because we do have a few feminine characters of that sort, but most of the time Prince would apply. And it seems fitting. I just happen to have this here. We'll pay a little respect to the Prince. So what have we got here anyway? In the Prince of Darkness, we have a figure that doesn't look perhaps the most cheerful. Let me zoom in on him a little bit there. He looks maybe even a little upset, but I don't think so. I think he looks serious instead. And what he represents, we should consider very seriously. Now, first of all, if we look at him as the devil in most tarot decks, we have to consider what the devil really represents in an archetypal fashion, which the major arcana of the tarot pays particular attention to. The devil in tarot does not mean the epitome of evil. It does not mean it doesn't mean something horrible or angry or malicious. When we look at the figure of the devil, or Prometheus, whom I like to compare the two of them, if we look at those two together, what did they actually do in their respective mythologies? Well, they shed light. Prometheus gave people fire, something we needed desperately to move forward as a species. And the devil led people to knowledge. It had been forbidden. Whether that was right or wrong remains for different discussion, which we may or may not have someday on this particular channel. But the point was that people acquired knowledge, and the type of knowledge that we want to deal with here involves knowledge of self. If you take a look a bit more closely at this card, up in the corners we see two people bound by chains, don't we? Kind of like people may have felt without the benefit of fire, or kind of like people may have felt without knowledge, bound in ignorance and darkness, right? But we see here a burst of awareness, a burst of light, enlightenment, self-illumination. And then that gives rise to our rising up a notch, toward our becoming something more. In this context, the Prince of Darkness appears as the being that moves out from darkness into light, into awareness, into self-awareness and consciousness, which packs a lot of gifts. It packs in it a lot of good things. It enables us to do things. It enables us to shape our lives and our realities and move them in a desired direction that we can consider successful or not so successful, and then we can recalibrate. Think about this card in context of your situation, context of your life right now. Do you find yourself exactly where you'd like to find yourself? Was this where you thought you would get a year ago or 5 years ago? Where did you see yourself then, and how does that match up with what you see now? Do you feel chained to something inescapable? Do you feel that perhaps you lack the key to open those shackles and get on your way? If so, I think nobody can say, very few people can say, this was exactly what I expected a year ago. So if you haven't gotten where you wanted to get in touch with that deep part of yourself, hidden oftentimes well below the surface, in the darkness of the subconscious, and figure out what stood in your way. Figure out, how have you moved closer to the goal? Hopefully you've at least gotten a little closer. And what can you do to enhance and propel yourself further along in that regard? What do you need? How can you get that? Does it seem difficult? Why? What really holds you back? Does it have to do with circumstances truly beyond your control? Or does it just seem kind of hard? Figure out the true nature of your obstacles, and remember that obstacles don't have to prevent you. If your significant other, in this case a woman, were lying in the hospital and you knew that you only had a short time to get there before the birth of your firstborn, would you let a roadblock stop you? I doubt it. If your child or parent or dear friend were in desperate need, would you let a roadblock stop you? Would you let a speed bump slow you down? Would you let a red light come between you? I would hope not. Obstacles exist not to stop us, but to show us how much we care about something. I've said that a couple times recently, but it seems really true to me right now. Does lack of money, does lack of resources, does lack of time stop you from doing what you want to do, what you dream to do? If so, how much does it actually mean to you? If not, why, then that means you were willing to put in the effort and the time and dedication, even though it might not pan out the way you expected, even though it took and will continue probably to take extraordinary amounts of energy to get through these things. But how much more valuable in the long run? How much would it really mean to you if it was easy, right? So take a lesson from the Prince of Darkness here. He had to break some rules to get some things done for the benefit of people. And in most of the mythologies, he's suffered for it. But it was worth it for him. Do the same for yourself. And I don't necessarily mean to advocate breaking laws, But what will you let stop you? And will you use guidelines as an excuse, an excuse not to do something well within your power if you just put yourself on the path? Soon enough you'll discover, or you'll forge, the key necessary to free yourself, and you too can rise up. And it all starts with that little burst of light and awareness. Often for me, which I feel in the gut. You might feel it in the left ear, I don't know. But listen to that. It can tell you what you need. And remember also, you do not have everything you need right now to finish, or you already would have. Don't stop yourself from starting because you don't have what you need to finish. Remember that you have what you need to start. And you'll find and probably make a lot of the other things along the way. Finally, don't fear the dark. Our friend here didn't. Don't let that stop you. A seed that lets the darkness stop it dies in the ground. Push up through the dirt. Have the resilience of a plant. You've seen them sticking out of concrete. And if a plant can do it, so can you. As always, subscribe to this channel for regular updates. Make sure also to follow me on the social media platforms listed below. They get updated repeatedly throughout the day. The YouTube channel for right now only gets updated a few times a week. So please follow me on those. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Leave some comments, thoughts, questions, concerns, or whatever you have in the comments field below. I enjoy discussions. Keep in touch with yourselves and keep transforming, folks. Have a fine day.